Hi everybody, welcome to my YouTube video on confidence. This is going to be the first in the three-part series exploring confidence, motivation and how I started my YouTube channel. Some of the lessons and tips I've picked up along the way. So if you want to hear more from me, be sure to hit the subscribe button. I think confidence is such a complex topic and it's also a very personal one. You can have people who may feel generally confident but actually struggle in one area of their lives, and then you can have other people who are just generally suffering from a lack of confidence. I think it's a very courageous thing to actually admit that you may suffer from a lack of confidence, and I think this is a very hard thing to do because we live in a society that encourages people to fake it until they make it. That's certainly what I did. Up until a few years ago, I was just putting on a very confident demeanor when I was a complete wreck inside. The good news is that I followed a 10-step plan consistently over a period of years, and I've been able to regain my confidence. So let me share those steps with you. The first step for me was actually to improve on my self-care, because I noticed that when I didn't have a lot of confidence, I just did not care how I felt about myself. So that was the first thing I did, actually look at how I was looking after myself. And within self-care, there were 4 steps that I actually took a very close look at. The first was just physical activity, and I don't really want to say exercise because that may put some people off. For me, it was just about being mobile, just about moving. I work for myself, so it's very easy for me to be stuck indoors all day and working away. But I found that when I started making sure that I incorporated at least 1 hour of movement a day, and preferably at the start of the day, this did wonders for my confidence. It just made me feel better about myself. So for me, it could be a walk, it could be a run, it could be a cycle, and it doesn't have to be particularly vigorous. For me, it was just about moving. The second point that I looked at within self-care was nutrition. This is an area very close to my heart and one that I didn't really take much care of many years ago. But now I make sure I meal prep at the weekends, and this has just changed my life. It is absolutely fantastic knowing that you've got yummy, gorgeous meals in the fridge. So I generally tend to do my shopping on a weekend, and then I do my meal preps on a Sunday, and it's just fantastic. It just means I've got one less thing to worry about, but I know that I'm eating well. The third thing was actually just creating a sense of community around myself. So I joined a cycling club, I joined a running club, and it's just such a boost to my confidence. It really is fantastic when you've got people who are rooting for you, encouraging you. I would thoroughly recommend that if you're into any sort of sport or even any activity, just go and find a group that actually does the same activities, and it's just brilliant when you've got a group of people who are working towards the same goal and willing to encourage you all along the way. And then the fourth point in self-care, I would say, for me was just to dress as I wanted to feel. Take today for example. I knew I was doing a video on confidence and I wanted to feel my absolute best, and pink is my favorite color, so I went and got a pink shirt, and I tell you what, it gave me such a boost. It is working so well. I feel fantastic doing this video. So I would definitely say dress as you want to feel. I wanted to feel light, I wanted to feel confident, I wanted to feel bright, and so I chose an outfit accordingly. So those would be under self-care, which is the first step that I took a good look at. I would say the 4 things you need to be aware of are some sort of physical activity, your nutrition, meal prepping really worked for me, a sense of community, that's joining clubs. If you've got a good social network around you, friends and family, that's amazing, but you can also find this sense of community in many other ways. And then finally, what really helped boost my confidence was when I started to dress as I wanted to feel. The second point on my plan to regaining my self-confidence was actually to visualize a picture of what I wanted my life to look like. So for me, I just was going through life and doing things. I just didn't have any real positive pictures in my mind. And I think the power of visualizing things is just so fantastic. And so for me, the most important thing is actually to be happy. So now I've got a very clear picture in my mind of what that looks like for me, and I found that when I had that picture, it really helped with my confidence because it just gave me something to work towards and something very positive. So the second step on my plan is just to visualize a positive image of what you want your life to look like. The third point on my plan is affirmations. I cannot say enough about positive affirmations. It is something that I never used to do before, and it completely changed my life when I took this on board. My go-to person is Louise Hay. She's completely changed my life. I listen to her every single morning for at least half an hour, and I'll put a link to the video I watch up above. I cannot say enough about this. I had no idea how many negative thoughts were swirling around in my brain until I started listening to positive affirmations. I would wake up in the morning and my first thought would be, oh gosh, I've got to go to work, or oh gosh, the weather, or oh gosh, I've got so much on, I'm so tired. These were just the thoughts going around in my head, and I just completely changed that by listening to positive affirmations first thing in the morning, and it helped me so much. I cannot recommend this enough. The fourth step on my plan was just to change my posture. I used to walk around like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders, and I'd walk with my head slightly bowed, and it was just not very inspiring to my confidence. And then I just started to walk with my shoulders pushed back, and I walked with my head up, and it just helped so much for me to feel better in myself. It was just a very small change that I made, but just changing your posture to something that's a bit more positive, a bit more inspiring, can do the world of good. I definitely felt lighter now when I'm sitting or I'm standing or I'm walking. I just generally make sure I have my shoulders back, I have my head held up high, and it's just done wonders for my confidence. The fifth step, which I can't emphasize enough, is preparation for any task that you're about to face. I put so much prep into my videos for you, and it's such a pleasure. But just, I can't say enough about how much more confidence I have speaking on camera, knowing that I've done the prep for all my videos. So I would definitely recommend that whatever task you have in front of you, make sure you put the time aside to prepare for it. Do your best, and that will give you confidence to go ahead and approach that task with everything you've got. The sixth step I followed was just redefining fear and failure. Now, if there was a face for fear, it would be mine. I was scared of so many things. I had a fear of failure. I was scared of the dark. I was scared of heights. I was scared of dogs. I was just scared of so many things. And what I found was actually when I started to look at fear as something that I could use to understand more about myself, I found this really helpful. And I also made sure that whenever I was afraid of something, I would just run towards it really aggressively. So for example, I used to be afraid of the dark and afraid of living alone. So I went out and I bought my own flat and I lived alone. Yes, I did have to live with the lights on for the first 2 months, but gradually I got used to it and it was absolutely fine. I realized there was nothing to be scared of. I used to be scared of heights, and then I would just go to the highest slopes in the French Alps and just try my best to ski down with an instructor, of course. And every single time I did this, I would choke. But I did it year in, year out to get over that fear of heights, and it really did work. I used to be afraid of dogs, so I made sure that I would go to the park every day and actually just surround myself, make sure I was in an environment where there were lots of dogs, and it was really scary. I had quite a few meltdowns, but now I'm no longer afraid of dogs, and it's absolutely fantastic. So I think feel the fear, but just do it anyway. Just do it. And I would definitely encourage you to just redefine what you see fear as. And then failure. Failure is just an opportunity to progress further. I've had a few setbacks in my life, and now instead of looking at them as failures, I just see, oh, actually, that was the point in my life where I was actually able to progress on from. To redefine fear and failure, they're not things that need to hold you back. And I think once you start to do that, your confidence will just go through the roof. It certainly worked for me. My seventh step, which is my absolute favorite, is just to empower yourself with knowledge. I spend so much time on every single day just to get a little bit more knowledge. In my area of expertise, which is finance, I spend a lot of time just making sure I keep up to date with what's going on. But I'm also actually generally interested in what is going on in the world. And when I started doing this, it absolutely changed my life. because now I feel like I can have a conversation about something and not feel out of my depth, or I also feel like I know what I'm talking about. And all of this has come as a result of me making sure that I empowered myself with knowledge. And the thing is, there's just so many resources out there. There's the news, there's the internet, there's my YouTube channel, which I hope you've subscribed to, the podcast. There's just so much out there. If you want to know about a particular subject and you've got a bit of time on your hands, you can absolutely go for it. And also, then nowadays you can also listen to books through Audible online, so you can listen to them when they're on the go. I think it's absolutely amazing how much knowledge there is out there for free, and I would just encourage you that if you've got a particular area that you want to know more about, to just go for it and learn as much as you can about it. And also maybe look at people who have that knowledge, or who are close to you, who are doing things you might like to do, and just have a conversation with them. I just think it's so important to actually just enhance your knowledge. The 8th step on my plan to regaining my confidence was just never to compare yourself to anybody else. Everybody is on their own journey, and you just do what you can do. It's your story, it's your life. Do your bit and just keep working on the areas that you don't feel that confident about, and everything will be fine. I genuinely used to compare myself to so many different types of people, and it was no good for my confidence. And I found it was so helpful when I stopped doing this. So the 8th step, I would say, was just make sure you don't compare yourself to anybody. The 9th step, I would say, is just to embody confidence. When you find yourself in a situation that is a little bit outside of your comfort zone, or you don't feel that confident, try to remember a time or a place or a situation where you had loads of confidence, or where you were feeling very confident, and then just remember what that feels like. I also have an alter ego, and my alter ego is Michelle Obama. So when I'm in situations where I don't feel very confident, I ask myself, what would Michelle do? So who is your alter ego? Why don't you go ahead and leave me a comment in the box below and let me know who your alter ego is. Somebody who you can say, okay, well, I really admire that person. I like the way that person is, very confident. What would they do in that situation? And as I said, for me, it's Michelle Obama. The 10th step on my plan was just to smile. I found it made such a difference to how people engage with me, how I felt about myself when I started to express myself in a very positive way. So I would just say smile and look forward to your day. That's it from me in terms of my 10-step plan to regaining my confidence. I hope you've enjoyed it and you've taken inspiration from some of those steps. It completely changed my life. I cannot emphasize it enough how little confidence I had, and how when I implemented all these steps, my confidence came back, and I feel absolutely fantastic about that. So on that note, I'll say thank you very much for watching. If you've liked what you've seen, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification button so you can get an alert each time I release a new video. Thank you, and goodbye for now.